Emotional intelligence in leadership, often abbreviated as EQ, is the capability of a leader to recognize, understand, and manage their own emotions and those of others. It involves being aware of emotional dynamics, employing empathy, and fostering effective communication within a team. In the context of leadership, emotional intelligence contributes significantly by enhancing decision-making, improving relationship management, and building a cohesive team environment. The Simon Sinek way emphasizes an empathetic approach where leaders inspire and serve others by prioritizing emotional connections and understanding. The significance of emotional intelligence in leadership is profound. Leaders with high EQ are better equipped to navigate the complexities of human behavior in the workplace, making them exceptionally effective in cultivating trust, motivation, and collaboration among team members. By prioritizing EQ, leaders can create positive work environments that encourage innovation and resilience, driving superior team performance. Consider the example of a manager who navigates a critical team project. An emotionally intelligent leader not only provides clear direction, but also recognizes stress signals in their team, addressing concerns through active listening and meaningful support, thereby preventing burnout and maintaining productivity. Another real-world application can be seen in conflict resolution. A leader with strong emotional intelligence listens empathetically to conflicting parties, identifies core issues, and fosters understanding and compromise, thereby strengthening team dynamics and workplace morale. Support for the importance of emotional intelligence in leadership is widespread. Thought leaders and psychologists agree that EQ is crucial in differentiating exceptional leaders from average ones. Its influence extends beyond individual performance to organizational culture, where empathy and understanding become fundamental values. However, the concept of emotional intelligence is not without its challenges and controversies. Some critics argue that over-reliance on emotional intelligence can lead to manipulation, or that EQ is difficult to quantify and measure effectively. Others suggest that technical skills or cognitive intelligence can be equally important, pointing to a need for a balanced approach. In leveraging emotional intelligence the Simon Sinek way, this principle connects deeply to the overall topic by advocating for leadership that prioritizes a humane and empathetic approach. It influences other aspects like communication, fostering an environment where open dialogue is welcomed and trust is built. By focusing on emotional connections, leaders can inspire loyalty and commitment, ensuring that their team is aligned with personal and organizational objectives. The integration of emotional intelligence into leadership practices thus lays the groundwork for sustainable success and transformative leadership. The Simon Sinek approach to emotional intelligence, or EI, is rooted in the philosophy of leading with empathy, understanding, and a deep focus on human emotions and motivations. At its core, Sinek's approach emphasizes the importance of leaders who inspire and foster trust, rather than those who merely command and control. Emotional intelligence, in this context, involves the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions judiciously and empathetically, enabling leaders to manage relationships more effectively. Significantly, this approach underscores the importance of EI in leadership by proposing that leaders who understand and leverage emotions can cultivate loyalty and motivation among their teams. They do this by creating environments where people feel safe and valued, aligning with Sinek's well-known principle of start with why, where understanding and communicating purpose can drive successful outcomes and foster a deep sense of belonging. Two examples illustrate this concept well. The first is the military, where Sinek often points to leaders who earn the trust of their teams by putting their safety and well-being first, creating a culture of deep trust and commitment. Another example can be seen in corporate settings like the case of Bob Chapman, CEO of Barry Waymiller, whose focus on people-centric leadership valuing employees' personal growth and happiness reflects Sinek's ideas and has led to tremendous organizational success. Support for this concept comes from various leadership frameworks, which highlight the importance of emotional intelligence in fostering effective leadership outcomes. Studies indicate that high EI in leadership correlates with better workplace satisfaction and performance. However, challenges do exist. Critics argue that overemphasizing emotional intelligence can possibly lead to sentimentality that may obscure decision-making and accountability. There are also viewpoints suggesting that some leaders may struggle to balance empathy with other critical leadership skills, such as assertiveness and strategic decision-making. Despite these challenges, Sinek's approach to EI profoundly influences other aspects of leadership by advocating for authentic leadership built on trust and meaningful relationships. These aspects are essential for fostering innovation, resilience, and adaptability in organizations. By aligning leadership with a strong understanding of emotional dynamics, leaders can navigate complex challenges while inspiring their teams towards a shared vision. Sinek's perspective challenges traditional leadership paradigms by proposing that prioritizing emotional intelligence is not just an enhancement, but a necessity for effective leadership in today's dynamic world. Emotional intelligence in leadership, particularly through the lens of Simon Sinek's philosophies, revolves around a leader's ability to understand and manage their own emotions, while also effectively recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. At its core, emotional intelligence involves self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. In leadership, EI plays a pivotal role because it facilitates communication, improves relationships, and contributes to an inspiring and inclusive environment, reflecting the essence of Simon Sinek's leadership model, which emphasizes empathy and deep understanding. The significance of emotional intelligence in leadership is profound. It enables leaders to connect with their teams on a human level, fostering trust and collaboration. This is crucial in the Simon Sinek way, where leadership is not about authority, but about serving and empowering others. Leaders with high EI can navigate complex social dynamics and are better equipped to handle stress, make informed decisions, and cultivate a positive workplace culture. In real-world applications, consider a leader navigating a high-pressure situation such as a company merger. A leader with high emotional intelligence would manage their stress effectively, communicate transparently with their team about changes, and provide support to those feeling uncertain or anxious. Another example could be a leader in a tech startup who uses emotional intelligence to create a feedback-rich environment where team members feel valued and understood, promoting innovation and commitment. Support for this concept comes from various leadership studies showing that emotional intelligence is a better predictor of successful leadership than traditional measures like IQ. Sinek himself argues that leaders who prioritize empathy and compassion are more likely to inspire loyalty and drive collective success. However, there are challenges and controversies surrounding the emphasis on emotional intelligence in leadership. Critics argue that an over-reliance on EI might lead to overly emotional decision-making or the risk of manipulation under the guise of empathy. Additionally, some assert that prioritizing emotional intelligence could undervalue technical competence or lead to biases in evaluating leadership potential. Emotional intelligence connects and influences other leadership aspects by enhancing communication, reinforcing team cohesion, and driving long-term organizational success. In the context of the Simon Sinek way, it serves as a fundamental pillar in fostering the kind of leadership that prioritizes people over profits, aligning closely with values of authenticity and moral responsibility as highlighted in his works. Building trust through empathy and connection is a fundamental principle of emotional intelligence that is central to leadership, particularly as advocated by Simon Sinek. This concept involves leaders fostering an environment where individuals feel understood, valued, and connected. Empathy, the ability to perceive and relate to the emotions of others, allows leaders to build genuine connections with their team members, creating a culture of trust. The significance of this point lies in its ability to enhance group cohesion and productivity. Trust is the cornerstone of effective leadership, and when leaders practice empathy, they are more likely to inspire loyalty, respect, and motivation within their teams. This aligns with Sinek's teachings on leadership, emphasizing the importance of understanding and caring for those you lead to drive success. A notable real-world example comes from the corporate culture at Patagonia, where leadership places a strong emphasis on empathy and trust. This approach has fostered exceptional employee engagement and loyalty, contributing to the company's sustained success and innovation. Another example can be seen in Google's Project Aristotle, which identified psychological safety, a component nurtured through empathetic leadership, as a key factor to high-performing teams. Endorsements of this idea are widespread among leadership experts. Brené Brown, a renowned researcher on vulnerability, argues that empathy is crucial for innovation and creativity in teams. Furthermore, studies in organizational psychology consistently show that trust correlates with lower turnover rates and higher job satisfaction. However, implementing this approach isn't without challenges. Critics may argue that prioritizing empathy could lead to decision-making that is too emotionally driven, potentially compromising objectivity. Moreover, in high-paced or results-driven environments, some leaders might view empathy as time-consuming or secondary to achieving targets. These views suggest a potential tension between soft and hard leadership skills. Despite these alternative viewpoints, building trust through empathy and connection inherently influences other aspects of leadership by strengthening communication, enhancing team collaboration, and fostering an inclusive workplace culture. It directly ties to and enhances other tenets of emotional intelligence, such as self-awareness and social skills. By weaving empathy into their leadership style, leaders not only cultivate trust, but also lay the foundation for sustainable success, as argued by Sinek's philosophy on leadership being about others, not oneself. This interconnectedness underscores the integral role of emotional intelligence in effective leadership, making it an invaluable skill for any leader to master.